So my first question is going to be on from a electric commercial vehicle point of view. How do you look at safety, sustainability, efficiency, and the future?
Okay.
It's a broad-based question, but
Yeah.
you can
Yeah.
answer it one after the other.
See, the EV commercial vehicle segment, you can't put them in one basket, right? We'll have to dissect into, let's say, passenger and then goods
Cargo.
movement,
Yes.
cargo movement separately. And if you look at passenger movement, basically it's multiple buses and segment. And bus segment today uh, is around 7% adoption, 7 to 8% adoption in electric mobility. There are multiple tenders by state government. We are seeing multiple employee transports getting converted into electric. Most of them are moving towards electrification, not only for let's say the environmental perspective or the pollution perspective, but economic perspective as well. Today, if you look at the total cost of ownership of electric buses running for 12 years, with the current whatever you call as subsidy or whatever it is there, it actually makes economic sense for the STUs as well as for the OEMs like us, making sense. We need to work on different financial models to it, but I think the adoption will be faster and the growth rate, as government envisages, they want to put about 10,000 electric vehicles a year before 2030. There's something like they are talking about 50,000 electric buses soon to be electrified. So it's a good sign. The having said that, the challenges are not small. We need to work on the charging ecosystem, the financial ecosystem, because if you have to say 50,000 buses, it's going to be like 60,000, 70,000 crore investment. Of course, many OEMs like us will depend on banks to fund it, some portion of it, and equity will be some portion of it. So we'll have to solve the financial problem and the payment security mechanism around it. And I'm seeing a good growth in bus segment. That's why we are as Switch Mobility took that segment for commercial electrification as a first step towards passenger electrification. On the once this economic model is viable between the STU and the OEM and maybe the operator as well, then this business becomes sustainable. So government is trying to make various tenders, make it sustainable between the industry, state transport undertaking and the consumers, let's say private operators, and see how it makes sense for this business to sustainably make growth over a period of time without government intervention. I think we are by and large there. On the safety part of it, I think if you look at the safety standards received or released by the Government of India after some few hiccups in the two-wheeler segment, I think it's a very good safety standard which is globally benchmark competitive. If the OEMs like us, most of us follow that and make sure that we meet all the standards, certify it. The most important part is the maintenance of it for lifetime in the field. See, I was going through multiple depots, dealerships, customers. The commercial vehicle segment is very, I would say, less sensitive towards dust and silicon. The electric vehicle segment is very, electronics is sensitive to silicon. Silicon is one of the important things which we should avoid in terms of joineries while we do the IP67, all that, but there are servicing part, there are operational parts which we have to take care. So that one portion, I think the operators and the users need to keep in mind, and OEMs needs to continuously educate customers in terms of usage of that. It doesn't apply to only bus, it applies across to all EV segment. Where any new technology comes in, the ecosystem will take some time to learn, and I don't see a big issue in that. I'm sure one or two incidences of thermal incidences media likes to project it. There are even diesel and regular cars and buses get fire even today due to various usage application in the field, and we should not take it lightly, but we should not panic as well. That's what I would say on the overall safety portion of it, whether it is two-wheeler, three-wheeler, complete EV segment. I think we should be conscious of the application, created test procedures, do some rectification methodology where the application, while you are meeting safety standards, but the application may be in a different way which we need to address. So the one thing which every OEM including us are very focused on is safety, and we as Switch Mobility is committed on safety of our vehicles, and our track record so far has been very good, because we do about 1,000 tests to make sure the product is integrated well and they function well with multiple cold, hot weather and many more. And then the customer don't have any used case other than what we test. That's how we are looking at it. Coming to cargo segment, the cargo segment is as we speak, it's heavy commercial vehicle, light commercial vehicle, and then special applications. It varies. So if you look at the light commercial vehicle, which is running within the cities,
the last mile,
mid mile, around that, where it is moving between storing hubs, distribution centers, and the new e-commerce which has now popped up well, where they take more in volume than in load. So all this becomes the necessity in the society, and I believe that is the segment. If you look at the commercial vehicle, the highest what I would say cost of commercial goods transportation is in the last mile mobility. Now if you look at, we are focusing on bringing last mile and mid mile electric mobility, not because of again environment, because they are in the cities. Today we are talking about Delhi choking. Look at, assume every bus, every passenger vehicle and every cargo is validity.
They make sense to be in those places.
If it is electric, it's not going to create any pollution in the city. While you can't solve all the problem, actually you can minimize the problem by contributing something from mobility sector, and hence it environmentally makes sense to have this mid mile and last mile vehicles both on cargo and passenger in electric mobility. Having said that, we are also saying in India, in commercial vehicle, people will not adopt if you don't have economic sense. So if you look at Switch iEV3, iEV4, which we have launched, and today I was with the dealers and some of the customers who are using electric vehicle in other segments, they were very clearly saying that yes, what you are saying about 6 to 12,000 or 15,000 rupees saving per month apart from a higher EMI by lowering the fuel cost, monthly fuel cost, my cash flow of the month comes down and I do a saving of 6 to 15,000 rupees depending upon the kilometer I run, and it makes economic sense. So if it is environmentally beneficial, it makes economic sense for our customers to use such things, and we are able to solve the charging infrastructure and the duty cycle applicable to it. I think there is no reason that the light commercial vehicle will have a very high adoption of electric mobility quickly. The unfortunate part is in the recent PME drive, the N1 segment, which is the light commercial vehicle, was left out. I hope it is by mistake and government is looking to correct it. It should have been much faster, because right now it is very low adoption and few thousand vehicles are being sold, and that segment I feel it makes economic, environmental, and it's a sustainable business to our customers and OEMs and so on and so forth. The other one, which is intercity cargo movement, intercity bus movement, people movement, all that needs a huge investment in charging infra. the ecosystem for it.
So are you somewhere indicating in Mofusul, or are you indicating like from Pune to Bangalore or maybe Pune to Mumbai?
Mofussil up to 250 kilometers still can be managed by captive charging infrastructures. But if you look at something like about 300 to 400 kilometers, then you will not be able to do captive in all the regions where we are talking about. Then we need public infrastructure to come in. Government has allotted in PME drive a substantial amount on charging infrastructure, but the private and other stakeholders have to come forward and execute it and utilize it to make that happen. So a lot of efforts needed. It's not easy because the land parcel available and its cost nowadays prohibit a lot of businesses to establish throughout India. We need to work on that when we take care of this. Large trucks which are going let's say 300 400 kilometers, running 400 300 kilometers, also depend on such infrastructure, and hence there is a bit of a challenge there. It will take a little bit time to adapt. But however, in this segment where there are captive, where people want to do transportation import from a storage area to a sorting area, or a transshipment port where people want to move, where it is controlled 300 kilometers within radius, I think EVs will make a sense, because a lot of vehicles will do a up and down within it, and those vehicles are not deployed in any other application. So those selective segments have to be looked at for EV adoption, and there is a potential to do that, because EV is just a start now. Commercial vehicle EV just started in last 3 to 5 years time, and I am sure if you look at this decade, it will have a very impactful adoption effort, because selling that first 1,000 vehicle will take efforts. The next 1,000 will be faster, and next 10,000 will be much faster, because once the people understand the ecosystem, the economics, and used to it, then it's very difficult for people to come back, because you will see the benefit of electric mobility.
So you have covered the bus segment, you covered the N1 segment on the cargo side. Where would Switch Mobility want to look at beyond that now?
See, as a group, we have a lot of strength in having. See, if you look at the N1 segment and the bus segment, it needs dedicated efforts to develop products and expand faster, and we need startup kind of cultural environment in the organization, and that's why Switch is kept within the Hinduja group and Ashok Leyland, a separate entity to speed to market, to get innovative ideas in particularly applications, and bring in products quickly based on the evolving needs of the customers. So that is the kind of culture and the products and reach we want to do with the customers.
But you're not limiting yourself to these two categories or these two categories of products, right? Because would you?
But that, if you look at within the group, Ashok Leyland still makes Boss EVs.
Yes.
And we have a 55-ton truck in it, because those are all again a long distance, what I am talking about, where you need a lot of channel requirements and the distribution requirements and the things which are much aligned towards the truck distribution system available in it. So it will go by merit within the group. How do we structure it? Because it has to meet the customer requirement, it has to make business sense. There is no point for the sake of putting everything together doing it. I believe it is the right way to do now, and it's flexible, it's within the group. After 10 years, if we feel that we need synergy, we can always restructure it, reorient it. It's not going to be the, but as a Hinduja group, we are committed not only for EV, we have been committed to alternate fuels, we have demonstrated multiple things. We'll keep options open, but the focus right now is on EV to expand the market and bring in impact not only here but globally. That's the advantage we have, because Switch is globally present. We are in UK, Europe. Our E1 bus is getting homologated right now, and we are delivering our first bus in December to Spain. So that global aspirations can be met.
I think your plant in Europe is also coming up.
Yeah. So we are exploring a possibility of getting a plant in Europe as well. So we have all that options.
There was a press conference, I think, about a year or two back about.
So we bought a land in Spain, but looking at what's happening in Europe, the challenges on energy, challenges on this, we are just postponing it to a future date.
Okay.
But we are looking at all the segments very, very carefully. For example, we have won the first EV export bus from India to Mauritius.
Okay.
The tender is done by CESL, and 2 days back we got the LOI, we were L1, and 100 buses will be supplied by Switch Mobility to Mauritius as part of the government grant to them. And that's very proud moment for us, because Switch Mobility buses as part of government of India's export to another country, to like Mauritius, will see new technologies. I think it also says that India in commercial vehicle, when looking at EV technologies, is at par and looking at knocking the global doors in terms of technology, standards of meeting safety I talked about, and product which is getting there. So it's a very big opportunity. We don't see India alone, we look at the global opportunity with EV.
With the kind of geopolitical situations, with the currency fluctuations that we are experiencing here against the dollar because of the Fed rate changes over there and the new administration that has come over there, how do you count this as challenges when you are talking about export, and on the other side in building your supply chain?
Yeah. See, always in business the challenging part is forex and raw material fluctuations. It's applicable to all types of auto business. It's not only for EV. And now I think after COVID, with all the supply chain challenges, I think industry and we have learnt a lot. We know how to handle it much better by proper planning, by proper contracting, and by proper forecasting. I think we have learnt a lot. And the challenges what right now on fluctuations are much, I would say, less impactful than what we have gone through during COVID. Having said that, we are well prepared to handle those fluctuations. The good part is Indian rupee is not as fluctuating as anything else when compared to either euro, dollar, or anything. I think it is reasonably performing better than any other currencies in Asia or things like that. So that way it is better. And we have worked around. When you are in business, you have to be prepared for it, and auto business is not an easy business.
Yes. There are a lot of regulations also that you have to, external factors, the tailwinds and the headwinds.
Absolutely. So we have a very clear risk mitigation process, hedging process. We have a review mechanisms. We monitor all these business metrics which are affecting as part of Hinduja group. That's the help, I would say, benefit of being in the part of the group, because such things knowledge are being transferred within one industry to the other industry within the group, and Switch will benefit out of it.
The kind of innovation, last question, the kind of innovation you are bringing into electrification of vehicles, does that open new vistas for you in areas that are beyond commercial vehicles, but like off-highway, which are also commercially quite relevant or commercially matter? Are you looking at something like that, off-road or those dune buggies or recreational vehicles?
Yeah. So see, there will be always an offshoot from the main product line always. For example, recently we are supplying our IEV4, Switch IEV4 vehicle for a sweeping machine application in Lucknow. So it's a very special application. Till now nobody has done it. We are doing it with IEV4, and we are planning to deliver those vehicles. Already some of them are dispatched, and we are planning to deliver in next 2 months. We are looking at reefers. I think government is looking at cold storage and perishable goods in a big way. Food and food industry storage and transportation is being played a role. I'm sure EVs will play an important role in such applications as well. So we will look at exploring within the core product and allied mobility systems around it. we will look at innovations within it, for example, which is oriented towards customers. IV3 and IV8 in switch, we gave electric power steering first time in industry to give what I would say uplift in lifestyle of the drivers, where the drivers life and life cycle with what India's growth in economy, we need to improve their life. So if you look at EV, is not going to have clutch gear shift. With electric power steering, his fatigue of driving per day, his well spent time with his family makes a lot of sense. So all the technologies needs to improve the lifestyle and of the people and improve the economic value of the people. That's where we will focus on.